All right, this is part 3 of my networking video. I'm going to talk about the recording and playback. Whoops. For clock sync, for part 6, I realized, number 6, I realized to talk about that back in part 2, at the end of part 2, so you can look at that back there. But recording and playback is this one. So basically there are 3 different game modes that you set up the message queue manager with. And it has a pointer to one of them. Game mode is the base class, and you just override process in and process out. So for normal mode, it's what I described before right here. For recording and playback, they're a little bit different. But basically, in your message queue manager, when you call process in and process out, you just go via whatever game mode you're using. And you just do the commenting thing at the beginning. And you have to make sure to make the input key and output cues. And you do the switch based on which one you choose. So normal was like that. If I switch to recording, the only difference with recording, process out is exactly the same, but with process in, you also have to record the message to a file. So basically when you set up recording mode, you have a file stream and writer that you set up right here, and it goes to this file called recording log, this binary file in the debug folder. And then every time you process something in the input queue, you mark the current time, and then you serialize that message, and then when you're serializing it to the writer is the file with the file stream. So when you serialize it, you're putting it in the file, and then you have to flush every time like we talked about. So that's the only thing different about recording. For playback mode, process out, you're doing nothing because you don't actually want to process anything in the output queue because it's already in the file. For processing in, basically I have this while, and so you're either reading the file or you're done reading the file. So you start off reading the file. If the current time is less than the next message header execute time, then you have to execute that message. So basically what you're doing is you're grabbing a message. Sorry, I'm explaining this poorly. You start out with a null message, which literally does nothing. And its time is 0. So no matter what, you're going to execute that at the beginning. But then you grab the next message, like so. You deserialize whatever is next in the file, and you have that next message. So this is going to be the next message in the file. You go back to the next frame, and if the time is right, then you execute it, and then you grab the next one. But you only grab the next one as long as you're not at the end of the file. As soon as you reach the end of the file, you set the status to be done, so then none of this happens anymore, and you're just completely done, and the game just keeps running, doing nothing. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to show it off. So this is recording. Let me start the server first. And client. So server on the right. Gonna move, shoot a couple bullets, lay mine or 2. Move, shoot a couple bullets, lay mine. So it's recording. I'm gonna stop. Now if you go to the debug folder, you'll see that recording log is right here. And if I switched to playback mode, in playback mode you don't need the server at all. You're just in the client and you just run it. And it takes a while. You can see I'm in playback. You'll see the time sync happen here in a second. So it jumped up. And now it's doing everything. It has recorded how bad the jitter is. And yeah. Playback over, it prints when it's done, so everything's just going to keep gliding off because of the prediction stuff, but it is over. So that seems to be working. Yeah, that's everything with recording and playback.